The Wastelands of Fallout's post-apocalyptic United States has played host to mighty empires, creepy tales, and heroic stories that will echo across time. But we've only really experienced a very small slice of that wasteland. The desolate ruins of Washington, D.C., the scorched desert of the Mojave, and the ever-tumultuous lands of New California, just to name a few. But what about the rest of the country? What lies beyond those well-trodden paths? Surely life, civilization, and terrifying monstrosities exist in their own little corner of this ruined world. So join us here at Lore Tours today as we dive headfirst into the other Wastelands of Fallout, looking at what tales and rumours we've heard echo from places that you might not be too familiar with. Now our first stop is the Midwest, where after the fall of the Master's super mutant army, the Unity, a fleet of Brotherhood airships was sent east on a mission to hunt down and eliminate the last remnants of the Master's army. Most of those airships never made it to their destination, however. They were destroyed in battle or scattered to the wind by mighty storms. But one of those airships did make a successful crash landing in Chicago, Illinois, and the survivors of this crash dug in, establishing themselves as the Brotherhood of Steel detachment in Chicago. We know for a fact that at some point in their history, this Chicago detachment did battle with super mutants coming in from the West Coast, and controversially they took on some of these super mutants into their own ranks, fighting side by side with the same creatures they were sent to destroy. But by the year 2254, this Chicago Brotherhood had gone rogue. They cut off contact with the West Coast Brotherhood, and no attempt at communication was made with Elder Lyons when his expedition went east in search of them, leading most to believe that this group fell to some unknown foe or catastrophe. There are rumours coming out of the Midwest, however, rumours about what this Brotherhood detachment has been up to since going rogue. Some of these stories are wild, and plenty of people dismiss them as non-canonical events. But if you are so inclined, you can read into these whispers. Maybe this Chicago detachment wasn't just confined to Illinois. Maybe they expanded their reach further into the Midwest, adapting to the harsh conditions and leading a faction that's both more militaristic and pragmatic than their West Coast cousins. According to some reports, after rallying together in the Windy City, the Midwest Brotherhood really started to break away from the rest of the Brotherhood in their beliefs. See, unlike the more rigid, tech-hoarding ways of their Western cousins, the Chicago Brotherhood saw things a bit differently. They were willing to share their advanced medicine and technology with the local tribes in exchange for food and labor. They even offered protection against raiders in return for new recruits. This approach, combined with a recruiting drive across their new territory, saw the Brotherhood's ranks swell with villagers, reformed raiders, ghouls, super mutants, and even semi-intelligent hairy Deathclaws. And with their new dynamic army, the Brotherhood launched a war against one of the nastiest groups in the Illinois area, the Beast Lords, a cannibalistic tribe with the ability to psychically control the creatures of the wasteland. But the Brotherhood wasn't about to back down. They crushed the Beast Lords, eradicating them from the region, and cementing their control over Chicago and the villages surrounding it. With that victory, they set their sights on expansion, pushing southwest, bringing new settlements under their banner, acquiring more technology, and growing in power. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As they expanded, strange rumours began to filter in. Settlers and raiders alike were fleeing from the direction of Colorado. Something out there was sending people running, and the Brotherhood couldn't ignore it. With their stronghold in Chicago secure, the Brotherhood kept pushing westward, eventually reaching a region known as the Belt, mostly in what used to be Missouri. Now this place is as grim as they come, a desolate waste filled with hardy, independent people. In the Belt, the Brotherhood found themselves face to face with a super mutant army, led by none other than a former Brotherhood of Steel paladin, one who was aboard another one of those airships that went east and crashed. Only this time, instead of rebuilding a Brotherhood chapter, those on board this airship were captured by a nearby band of super mutants, only for one of the paladins to take command of the army of brutal super mutants. The combination of the mutants' raw strength and their new training in Brotherhood tactics made them a formidable force, wiping out huge portions of the Midwest Brotherhood's forward forces and smashing their intelligence network in the region, the Brotherhood found themselves on the back foot, struggling to adapt to this brutal, well-organised enemy. But after a hard-fought campaign, the Brotherhood finally managed to defeat the foul supermutants. Their odyssey wasn't finished there though. As their forces moved further west, the Brotherhood encountered the Reavers, a band of raiders who worshipped old world technology, viewing it as a divine relic, and they were organised, ruthless, and more than willing to die for their sacred machines. And if things couldn't get any stranger, the Brotherhood's journey took them even further west, right into Colorado, where the mysterious force driving people out of the region could be found. It wasn't just some raider gang or mutant horde. No, they found themselves facing down the cold, calculating might of the Calculator, a rogue supercomputer nestled in Vault Zero inside Cheyenne Mountain, designed to link the minds of frozen pre-war geniuses to guide the future of humanity. Budget constraints meant the Calculator's mission didn't go quite to plan, and before long it went rogue, sending an army of killer robots out to annihilate all life in the Wasteland. The Brotherhood threw everything they had at this mechanical menace, and upon finally defeating the Calculator, the Brotherhood were rumoured to hold an empire stretching from the edge of Lake Michigan all the way to Colorado Springs. We do have some unsubstantiated reports coming out of the wasteland of Texas. However, in most cases these are seen as little more than rumour and hearsay, and are not regarded as documented canonical events. But what rumours we do have come from a little town called Carbon. Supposedly, Carbon was where a Brotherhood of Steel expedition, one led by none other than head paladin Rhombus from the west coast, seemingly vanished. In response, the Brotherhood dispatched an initiate for some reason to the area to investigate what happened to the patrol. Upon arriving, the initiate found the town under siege by a matriarchal band of raiders, led by Matron Jane, a hedonistic and sadistic slaver, who upon being promptly defeated in combat, which really should come as no surprise, I mean she's hardly wearing clothes, let alone power armor, would reveal a greater threat to the Lone Star State than previously fought. As it turned out, the Brotherhood of Steel expedition had been captured by a super mutant army, led by Attis, a towering brute of a mutant with a brain and ambition to match his brawn. Set on continuing his master's work, Attis attempted to access a secret Vault-Tec corporate vault hidden beneath Texas, believing it to be home to an improved version of the forced evolutionary virus, the very same nasty green goo that created the super mutants in the first place. Luckily, thanks to the actions of that lone Brotherhood initiate, Attis's plans were stopped. The super mutant army's attempt to mutate the human populace of the wasteland was thwarted, and Texas was spared from becoming a playground for mutated horrors. Whether it's the Midwest, Texas, or some long-forgotten corner of the United States, one thing's for sure, the Fallout world is massive and we've only really just scratched the surface of it. From the radioactive ruins of Washington DC to the harsh deserts of the Mojave, we've seen a lot, but there are so many areas left unexplored, so many stories left untold. What do you think? What other secrets are lurking out there in the unexplored corners of the wasteland? Maybe there's yet another hidden Brotherhood chapter we've yet to encounter. Or maybe, just maybe, down in the irradiated Everglades, Florida Man has mutated into his final form. Let us know your thoughts and theories down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to join us again soon. Until then, catch you next time.